Awesome Wrestling Entertainment, the new brand in sports entertainment. We're wrestling and proud of it. And now, the hottest new podcast in the world. This is Awesome. Your host, Chris Graham.
This is Awesome. I'm Chris Graham, your host. Another interesting show for you today. We got the big guy, the head honcho, Marvin Ward. He'll be joining us in our interview segment, and we'll be talking with him about, well, this interesting interview we had earlier in the week with Tully Blanchard, former member of the legendary Four Horsemen group who signed to appear at the AWE Awesome Night of the Legends. And Tully, we set up an interview earlier this week with him, and we're going to talk about his autograph signing he'll be doing there and meeting and greeting fans, and thought it was going to be this nice, friendly interview, and Tully sort of turned on us a little bit there, and we're actually working to get Tully back on, and I think we've gotten some understanding that maybe Tully was just a little more upset than he thought he was, but we're going to still address that with Marvin Ward and get a feel for where Marvin is on this issue. So I want to talk to Marvin about that. Of course, Marvin, under his wrestling name, Doug Gibson, is in the big main event at the Awesome Night of the Legends show. It'll be Doug Gibson and Kevin Nash, Big Sexy Diesel, Big Daddy Cool, the former WWE and WCW World Champion. They'll be taking on the Rock and Roll Express, the former many-time NWA World Tag Team Champions, in that huge main event. The Final Countdown, we're calling it, at the Awesome Night of the Legends. So we'll talk with Marvin about that, and a little bit later in the show, then we'll have some more from our ongoing series of interviews with Ricky Morton about the Awesome Night of the Legends, the Final Countdown, and we're going to have something there. Actually, and Rock and Roll Express will also be on our Awesome Night of the Superstars, which is in Woodstock, Virginia, on September 17th. That's at Central High School. And Ricky and Robert will be wrestling against the Infernos there, and we'll talk about that. Have some audio from a conversation with Ricky about that match and his plans for that match. So we'll talk about that, and then also some news. We'll have some news to share about another legend added to the Bunkhouse Stampede at the Awesome Night of the Legends, and it's huge news. Just broke on our website earlier today, so we'll share some of that with you, and a lot. There's just so much going on here in AWE. We barely have enough time to go into it all. This is Awesome.
This is Jimmy Yang, your Asian redneck, and this is Awesome. Yeehaw!
Don't even look at your date book. Just remember the date. September 17th. Where should you be? Central High School. The place? Woodstock, Virginia. That's right. AWE's Awesome Night of the Superstars. And guess who'll be there? Somebody that looks just like a movie star.
Follow Awesome Wrestling Entertainment on Facebook. Get up-to-the-minute breaking news, videos, and tell us what you want to see. Because at Awesome Wrestling Entertainment, it's the fans that matter. Follow us on Facebook, and remember, this is awesome.
Welcome back to our show, and we're happy to have with us as a guest the big man, the big cheese, Marvin Ward. He's going to be in that main event match at the AWE Awesome Night of the Legends October 15th at Augusta Expo in Fishersville, Virginia, teaming with Kevin Nash to go against the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson. And okay, so we've known about that. We've been talking about that for the last few weeks here on our show and all over our website and Facebook. But Marvin, seems like you've been ruffling some other feathers here of late in AWE.
It looks as I've upset a lot of legends, which is kind of funny. I mean, I don't understand why. It all stems from an interview that you put up with Tully Blanchard, I guess a few days ago. And Tully is pretty upset with me. And again, it goes back to the interview that I did 3 months ago, to where, I mean, I was not degrading these legends. I mean, my God, if I was going to degrade them, I sure in the heck wouldn't have booked the biggest show in AWE history, and to me, the biggest show to ever come to Virginia, and it'd be a night of legends. If I didn't think they were prominent enough to draw, I sure wouldn't have booked the show, centered directly around legends. But with that being said, it was an interview to where I was, again, I've said it over and over, where I compared wrestling of the 80s to today and how these guys were pushed and how business is done. And I made a comment, And if you go back and you listen to my interview, I clearly said I don't mean this the way it sounds. I said, I think when it came to the four horsemen, it just seemed like Tully was carried by the horsemen. And my God, is he angry over me at that, and I don't understand why. Now it just, to me, it seems like 2 and 2 starting to come together here, Chris. First it was Ricky, and now Tully, and, the pieces of the puzzle hadn't been completely put together in my book, trying to figure all of this out until Tully did that interview. And I'm not sure if you know this, you might. Tully Blanchard's a preacher now, in which, God bless him. I am so glad and so thankful. But if you go back to these videos of Ricky Morton, they were posted on a YouTube channel under the name Preacher Man. I'm not drawing any conclusions here, but things are starting to add up here. Could this Preacher Man have been Tully Blanchard from the get-go? And is that what Tully means by he has a surprise for me? I have created a storm that I can't get out of. Really? Over a comment that I said that wasn't even negative to them. It was an observation. I mean, are these guys really, maybe in my book when they looked at it, that these guys, maybe they don't think they were as good as maybe they did back then. I don't know. But to get upset over something like that is amazing. But 2 and 2 starting to come together now, man. It's getting kind of interesting.
It is indeed. We did this interview with Tully this week, and we set it up. Tully's going to be at the show October 15th, and he's going to be signing autographs. As he mentioned in the interview, nobody wants to see him wrestle anymore, as he said. He's past his prime as far as that goes, but people still do want to see Tully. He was in the Four Horsemen. He was U.S. champion, World TV champion, World Tag Team champion, and people remember and love Tully from that respect. So we set up an interview thinking, hey, let's talk to Tully about that great career he had. I want to talk about the I Quit match at Starrcade in '85 with Magnum TA, one of my favorite matches of all time. And, of course, when we reached out to him and set the interview up, we said we wanted to do a friendly interview with him. He made the call back and said, sure, can't wait to do it. Everything's all hunky-dory. And then all of a sudden he unleashes upon me, Mr. Interviewer, as he called me during the interview a couple times. Of course, he called you the Vince McMahon of independent wrestling, and hurling out insults and saying he signed the contract, can't wait to be here, but didn't sound like he really wanted to be. So it was interesting. And you point out, that was interesting that you pointed that out there, the Preacher Man YouTube channel, and that's something that we thought was curious when they first started popping up on Preacher Man. We didn't know who the Preacher Man was. There could be, that's interesting, might be a tie there, and collaboration, that would be an interesting collaboration, Tully and Ricky too. I mean, those were two guys who, of course, were rivals back in the 80s, trading the tag team titles a couple times, but I guess they know each other as well.
Well, it's kind of funny. First of all, I want to thank Tully. Man, thank you a lot. Calling me the Vince McMahon of independent wrestling. You know what? That's a compliment and a half. Thanks, Tully. You would compare me in any way to Vince McMahon. God bless you, bro, because I'll be the first one to say, Vince, mastermind and a genius of this industry. So thanks, Tully, for that one. But let's just flip back now. I'm sure he's going to have something to say about that now. Let's just flip back, going back to them being upset with me. It could be Ricky's calling these guys, too, and saying, look, this guy's cutting us down. He's doing this. He's doing that, and which is not the case. I mean, I'm a businessman. I believe in AWE. I believe in this company. I believe what we're trying to do. I believe legends have a place in this industry. I really do. I watched the video that Ricky did with you, where Ricky said it's like you guys threw me away. And you know what? I'm going to have to agree with him. It just seems like these guys that laid the path and the foundation, once the money started rolling, they were kind of kicked to the sides. But on the flip side of that now, why these guys are so bitter, is it because maybe their career, and the money that they made, they blew it? And they didn't save it, and that's why they're upset now because of all the big money. But what people have to realize, Ricky Morton gets on this video and says, well, Kevin Nash made more in 3 weeks than I made my whole career. Well, you know what? That may be true. But now let's turn the wheels back 30 years, Chris. Ricky said he made $120,000 his highest year in this industry. Well, you take $120,000 30 years ago when gasoline wasn't but, 30-some cents a gallon? The cars wasn't but a fraction of the cost of what they cost now. You compare that 30 years ago to today, and they're basically making the same money. Kevin was a smart man. He came in, he made his money, he saved his money. A lot of the other guys did the same thing. And why are these legends are so bitter? I can't, grasp my hands around it. I mean, if it's over the money, guys, sorry, you had your chance. If it's over the respect, I'll have to agree with you a little bit. It seemed like they kind of threw you to the curb. But AWE is trying to bring that back. All right? I mean, I've said it and I'll say it again. Yes, the legends were thrown away, but I believe legends have a place in this industry. They made this industry, and that's the reason I'm doing this whole Night of the Legends, to honor these guys, because they did, they did lay the foundation. And to have an awesome Night of Legends where it's based on nothing but legends, you can't get a bigger honor than that in my book. But to have these guys so upset with me right now, man, let me tell you something, both of them, Tully Blanchard and Ricky Morton. Tully, you said that you have more shower time than I do ring time. Well, you know what? You're probably right, because you did wrestle 7 days a week. You did it for years upon years, okay? I didn't do that. But you and Ricky Morton better realize something, that this business has changed a lot in 30 years to the way you did things back then. And if you guys want to fight, okay, I'm not saying that I'm the greatest fighter in the world, but if I have to have my rear end handed to me to prove a point, I may have it handed to me. But I grant you one thing, boys, you're going to wake up on Sunday morning and realize exactly who Marvin Ward is, exactly when I wrestled as Doug Gibson, who Doug Gibson is, and I have heart. And I'm going to prove that to Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. If Tully Blanchard's involved in any way, I don't care who he knows. You know what? If it's Arn Anderson you're talking about you could bring in, bring him. If it's Ric Flair, bring him. I could care less. But you'll know that I was there. And if you think we're going in this and taking it lightly, you're crazy.
We're running low on time, but Marvin, we'd like to have you back on next week. We want to ask some more questions about these ongoing controversies here in AWE. But, of course, I got to mention the two shows, AWE Night of the Superstars. That's in Woodstock, Virginia Central High School, September 17th. Information on our website, AwesomeWrestlingEntertainment.com. And then also the big show, the Night of the Legends show, October 15th, Fishersville, Virginia, Augusta Expo. And, again, more information on the website, on Facebook, Awesome Wrestling Entertainment. Marvin, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
My name is Jamin Olivencia, and this is awesome.
Big Sexy Kevin Nash, October 15th. That's right, at the Augusta Expo Center in Fishersville, Virginia. It's AWE's night. Oh no, not just any night. Awesome Night of Legends. Be there. I will be.
The most amazing, no, the most awesome wrestling website in the world, AwesomeWrestlingEntertainment.com. Up-to-the-minute news, videos, information on live events, purchase tickets, get your merchandise, all just a click away. AwesomeWrestlingEntertainment.com. Tell your friends this is awesome.
Well, I think maybe our stakes have been raised on the Tully Blanchard angle here in AWE. Again, we just set up an interview with Tully thinking that we're going to talk with Tully about his career. Nice little friendly chat about his upcoming autograph signing at the Night of the Legends in Fishersville, Virginia, at Augusta Expo on October 15th. And, then he had some harsh things to say about Marvin Ward, and then we'd reached out, and we're still going to endeavor to get Tully on a show next week to talk about the upcoming appearance. And, we had gotten word back from Tully's people that, so Tully was, a little more upset than he thought he was, but we'll do that nice friendly interview next week, kind of make up for it. Wonder how that might turn out now with Marvin Ward sort of laying down a couple of verbal bombs there. So, but I can understand. This is a tense situation right now. Marvin is getting it from all sides, and we'll switch gears and talk about the other sides here. We have some audio from an interview we did, series of interviews we did with Ricky Morton, and we've been sharing those with you here on our podcast as well over the last couple of weeks. And we're almost through the series. Got one more interview to go with Ricky that will run on our website tomorrow. And in the meantime, this week we ran another, and Ricky was talking about the Rock and Roll Express upcoming appearance at the AWE Awesome Night of the Superstars in Woodstock, Virginia, September 17th at Central High School. And the Rock and Roll Express will be there wrestling against the Infernos 1 and 2. And at least that's what we're billing it right now. Ricky, as you'll hear here, has some other ideas for that match.
If Marvin Ward and Kevin Nash says, I want you to come out and watch our match. I want you to. Because I'm coming there to make a statement. And the statement is not, and you have my word on this, I want them to go down to the wrestling school. And guys, I want you to get the two of the greatest wrestlers that you have. And I make you a promise, Robert Nine's not going to hurt them. The statement is that we're going to take these two green guys, and I'm going to show you how to paint a picture, how to make these guys look like they've been in the business for 15 years. We talk over no high spots in the back. We don't even talk over the finish. We go straight to the ring to our match. And I want you to understand how we put this match together all in the ring that people do not know how to do these days, to show you the experience that Robert and I have, and to show even you, Kevin Nash, what you threw away, what we could do in that ring. Because, buddy, we've been known to turn poison ivy into a rose bush.
So no confirmation. We have no, word from the AWE office that anything's changed as far as that match. The Infernos, are scheduled, they're billed to be in that match against the Rock and Roll Express, but we'll see if that actually comes through or if Ricky's talked his way into another match here. And interesting development there, though. He's basically inviting Marvin Ward and Kevin Nash to come down and watch what he's pushing as a masterpiece of a match that against a couple of our younger wrestlers from our training center. We'll see how it goes. But we'll see here in the AW offices what the response is to that. We have not got any official confirmation yet. I know I've heard some talk behind the scenes about maybe working to accommodate that. And of course, if it does come off, it will give a couple of our training camp, training center graduates a great opportunity to really showcase their skills. And I don't know about the characterization of a couple of our new guys being green. We've got some good guys coming out of that training center, so it might be a little bit more than Ricky and Robert can handle, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Coming up in our final segment on the show here, we'll talk about some big news that we announced today for our Bunkhouse Stampede. This is awesome.
You all know who it is. It's everybody's favorite superstar, Carlito. And Awesome Wrestling Entertainment. Now that Carlito's here, can not only say it's awesome, but can also say it's cool.
If you want to be a pro wrestler, you've got to learn how to do the craft. AWE has such a place. AwesomeWrestlingEntertainment.com. Check it out. And check out what might be in store for you.
Wrestling fans, AWE's Awesome Night of the Legends. Saturday night, October the 15th, the Augusta Expo Land in Fishersville, Virginia. The final countdown has begun. The main event, the most talked about match in the wrestling world. You're going to see the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, go face to face with Doug Gibson and Big Daddy Cool. That's right, Big Sexy Diesel Kevin Nash. You're also going to see in action Fit Finlay against Alex Silva. Hacksaw Jim Duggan takes on Muhammad Akbar. A hardcore three-way dance as Abo Shango, C.W. Anderson all go against the hardcore legend himself, Terry Funk. You're going to see divas, Sonny, Gorgeous George, Baby Doll, and the three-time WCW champion, Diamond Dallas Page. It's Awesome Night of the Legends, Saturday night, October the 15th, the Augusta Expo in Fishersville, Virginia. Get your tickets online while they last. AwesomeWrestlingEntertainment.com. And remember, fans, you don't want to miss this. It's going to be awesome.
Wrapping up another show here, we had Marvin Ward, CEO of AWE, here as a guest talking about Tully Blanchard, and of course Marvin's own appearance in the big main event match at AWE Awesome Night of the Legends on October 15th in Fishersville, Virginia, and tickets on sale. VIP ringside, there's still a few of those available, and snatch your tickets up. AwesomeWrestlingEntertainment.com, easy. Find that buy tickets link, go right to it, buy some tickets. And so we talked with him. We had some audio from from Ricky Morton. Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson will be wrestling in that main event against Kevin Nash and Doug Gibson at the AWE Awesome-Marvin of the Legends. Also, in the audio we had today was regarding the Awesome-Marvin Superstars in Woodstock, Virginia. And so Ricky, we had Marvin, and now some news. We're wrapping the show up, or we'll wrap it up with some news about the Bunkhouse Stampede at the AWE Awesome-Marvin of the Legends. Tommy Dreamer, ECW original, two-time former ECW World Heavyweight Champion, will headline that Bunkhouse Stampede, the Open Invitational, and Dreamer will be in the Bunkhouse Stampede, and just that raises the stakes big time. Not only a two-time former ECW World Champion, but also I think I've seen it was the 13-time former Hardcore Champion there in ECW. Of course, he's a hardcore, just a legend in his own right. He was the heart and soul of ECW. He held championships both in the run when ECW was there in its heyday, 1992 to 2001, and then when WWE briefly breathed life back into it from 2006 to 2010. Tommy held titles in both runs there. So he's a guy that just lives, breathes, bleeds ECW. And he will be headlining our Bunkhouse Stampede. So we're just honored to have Tommy there. So we got Tommy, we announced last week, Lita. Of course, we already had guys like Kevin Nash and Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Fit Finley, and the list goes on. Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express. I mean, just, and then a nice mix with our own homegrown talent. Guys like Doug Gibson, guys like Muhammad Akbar, guys like Micah Fletcher. Just down the line of people we have here in AWE, and they're going to be competing, very much one for one with those legends' names. So we're looking forward to that big show coming up, of course, and that's AWE Awesome-Marvin of the Legends. That's October 15th in Fishersville, Virginia. And then September 17th, we've got the AWE Awesome-Marvin Superstars. That's in Woodstock, Virginia. And cards, go to our website, AwesomeWrestlingEntertainment.com. You can get more details on who's going to be on those cards. And we're excited, you say the least. And, of course, there's so much going on between now and then that we've got some word coming up here. We'll share with you more details next week, but we'll be debuting webcast of AWE action that we've had in different locations here, live cards across the country. We'll be sharing with you some of that, starting a webcast that'll begin. We're looking next week as far as beginning that with yours truly, Chris Graham, hosting, and commentary by Rob Feinstein, a longtime name familiar to fans of ECW and Ring of Honor and other places across the wrestling landscape. RF Video. We will be in conjunction with Rob and with RF Video, giving you a regular webcast series here where we'll showcase the stars of Awesome Wrestling Entertainment. So we'll give you more details on that next week and look forward to the debut of that show as we head into September 17th and October 15th. We've got so much going on here. Thanks to all the folks who've joined us on Facebook. We're close to 25,000 fans as of me talking right now. I'm sure that number has gone up and will go up as this podcast is replayed. But so many people out there clamoring for what we're offering. We're so honored to be able to give it to you. It's all about the fans, and we're wrestling and proud of it, and we're proud that our fans are responding in the ways that obviously you guys are. So we're going to try to keep it up the best we can. So we have, I just want to say thanks for listening. I'm Chris Graham, your host. This is Awesome.
AWE, Awesome Wrestling Entertainment, and this is Awesome. Content copyright 2011 and exclusive property of TWF Enterprises, all rights reserved. More information online at AwesomeWrestlingEntertainment.com.